Well, hello there, class. Welcome to another fun, exciting lesson. Today, we will be looking at using the customary units of measurement. In case you're wondering, customary units are the American units, feet and inches for distance or length, and gallons and cups that we use for measuring liquids and stuff like that for volume. And then pounds and tons and ounces we use for giving weight to something. So that's what we'll be looking at today. We're actually be looking at how to convert them. Now, in this section, there's a lot more actual problems that we'll be doing, but we're going to spend more time in class going over what those problems can look like. Right now, I just want to show you just the basics of how to convert. Now, you might want to open up your textbook to page 257, okay? Might open up to page 257 because there's a chart on there that might be really helpful for you to use. You don't have to copy it down if you don't want to, but it is a very helpful chart to have and to start knowing some of those conversion things. It doesn't look exactly like this. This is a copy I have from a different class, but it looks similar to this. It's going to tell you that these are the abbreviations for each unit. And then it's going to tell you how it converts. Like it tells you, okay, you got 12 inches in 1 foot. You have 3 feet in a yard. You have, 5,280 feet in a mile, stuff like that, okay? So it's going to have all that information there for you, which is, we need that, okay, as we do these problems. So our first one, we're told to convert each unit. So here it's going to be written with a number, the unit we're using equals blank units. So I have 5 quarts equals blank gallons. How many gallons do I have if I have 5 quarts? Well, here's what you need to do. We're going to need to write down, kind of our conversion, okay? So what we do is we're going to take our, there we go. We're going to take our 5 right here, and this is what I have. I have 5 quarts, okay? And we're going to, you can put it, we're going to put the quarts. Let's go ahead and just put the quarts right there. So put quarts, and we're going to multiply it by what we call the conversion rate, okay? So how many gallons go into a quart, okay? So that is our, I guess, our question. So I have 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts, okay? And so we're going to kind of multiply. You can kind of ignore the symbols for right now, but this is how you would write it. You put the bigger guy on top right here because we are, just because of the way we are trying to convert these. So you would say 5 times 1/4. Well, what is 5 times 1/4? Well, if you need to, you could always just, come over here and just write it down without the letters if the letters are kind of confusing you. And we'd say, well, I can't multiply it like that. What do I got to do? I got to put the whole number over a 1. Now I can. And you'd end up with 5 over 4, which converts to 1 1/4. But 1 1/4 what? What are we trying to find? Gallons. So you have 1 1/4 gallons. So if I had 5 quarts of liquid, I'd have 1 gallon and 1/4. Okay? All right, next, let's take a look at this one. Now we got pounds, pounds to ounces. Now, when going from pounds to ounces, this is a bigger thing here. So what we're going to do is we're going to write down our 18 again. I have 18 pounds, okay? And I am trying to convert it to ounces. So whatever I try to convert it to, I'm going to put on the top. So I have ounces on the top of my little conversion thing over here, okay? So the question is, if I have 1 pound, how many ounces do I have? Well, if you have that chart out, you'll know this, but if you don't, I'll just go ahead and tell you, it's 16. So if I have 16 ounces, so whatever you're converting to goes on top. So now I'm going to multiply this. This is just 16 over 1. Well, you could look at that as just 18 times 16 over 1, which is just 16. Well, what is 18 times 16? Well, you might need to go and do your little scratch work, which is perfectly fine if you need to write this stuff down like this. You might not have this times table thing memorized, but you could just multiply this and say, well, I got 6 times 8, which is 48. To get the 8 right there, the 4 goes there, that gets me 6, that'd be 100. Multiply that and you get 180, so you get 288. 288. So you would end up with 288 ounces, okay? All right, let's take a look at this next one. All right, with the example 3 here, we have half a mile, okay? So we're gonna once again write this down as 1/2 of a mile, and we're converting it to feet, so feet go on top, okay? So feet go on top, miles go on the bottom. What's the conversion rate? Remember, the bigger number, the bigger unit is always going to get the 1. So miles are bigger, so it gets a 1. So if I have 1 mile, how many feet do I have again? That's right, you have 5,280. That's how many feet you've got right there, okay? Well, once again, we should be able to convert this pretty easily. This is saying that I have 1/2 times, I have 5,280 over the 1. If I multiply this, if you wanted to, you could cross reduce, or you could multiply it and then divide, but I'm just going to cross reduce because I say, well, this is an even number, that's an even number. 2 goes into that 1 time, and 2 goes into this how many times over here? Well, if you need to figure that out, some people might need to do like, long division to help them all figure this out. But this number right here, you basically cut it in half. So you would end up with, let's see, half of that would be 40. Half of that is 100, but then you take half of that, you end up with 2,000. So you get 2,640 is what you should have. 2,640. So multiply the 1 times that, and you get 2,640. Multiply the 1 times 1, you would get a 1. Anything over 1 is just itself, so that kind of it's just that number. But we don't put that number down. You got to put it in the blank where it goes. You got to make sure you include the feet at the end. So it's actually 2,640 feet. Now think about that. If you're going half a mile, that's less than a mile. So it should be less than 5,000 because you're going less than a mile, which is 5,280 feet. So this kind of makes sense as you look at the numbers. Make sure that makes sense. Like if you had worked this out and you had got a number bigger than 5,000, that wouldn't make sense. If 1 mile is around 5,000 feet, and if you got an answer like 28,000, that's my answer, then you could just know, you should know that, okay, I did something wrong. So, check and use common sense. All right, last one we're going to go over is fluid ounces to cups. So once again, we're going to put our fluid ounces. Okay, we got fluid ounces, and we're converting it to cups. So cups go on top, fluid ounces on the bottom. Okay, now which is bigger, cups or fluid ounces? Well, cups are, so cups get the 1. And what for fluid ounces? Well, 8 fluid ounces make a cup. So you get this. So after multiplying, you could convert this again to 30 times 1/8. Put the 30 over 1, multiply, and you would get 30 over 8. Okay, 30 over 8, doesn't 30 over 8 reduce to, let's turn that to a mixed number first. Let's see, that would go into that 3 times. Yeah, so you would get 3 and 6/8. That fraction can reduce, so you end up with, please be careful. When you write this, do not write down just 3/4. I have a lot of students who box this stuff in their answer and they forget about the first 3. So even when you say equals, make sure you put 3 and 3/4. It's very important that you copy these things down again and again. You might think it gets repetitive, but guess what? It's the difference between being right or wrong. All right. Well, that was a very short video, but it would be, once again, helpful to maybe start memorizing these. If you don't have your textbook, maybe something you could do is to kind of copy down this chart. Just to copy down, these are the abbreviations, and these are the conversion rates, okay? Now, in class, we'll be going over how to use these practically. We'll also be covering something where you have to convert like cups to gallons. How do you find out how many cups are in a gallon, okay? Or how do you find out how many inches are in a yard? How do you find out how many ounces go into a ton? Think about that for a little bit because we will be using this in class a lot. So I suggest that you go ahead and look over this and start thinking about these ideas. How do you convert from these things? Because they don't give us it right here, but it is very easy to figure out. So I challenge you to do that kind of as a little bit of homework. Bring it into class and we'll talk about your ideas and stuff like that. So there's a challenge. Have fun.